The thing that if I was going to coffee with you that I would crazy preach at you, and that is that God created you as good. He did not create you as a problem. He did not create you fearing how you were going to screw it all up. He didn't create you and look back and think like, oh, messed up on that one. It's interesting, we talk about painting in chapter 5, and we're painting here with Britt Bass, and we're exploring our creative side. But I talked about in chapter 5 how when I paint something, I mean, literally, I'm in the middle of a painting right now. I've been working on it for an hour. And when I'm painting something, if I happen to like it, I'll look back and say like, yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Oh, that's good. I'm surprised a little bit. That's great. And that I realized writing chapter 5, I actually called Haley one day and like in tears. And I said, Haley, writing this book, I just had like a huge awakening from the Lord. And I realized that I think God created me the way I created painting. I thought that God made me and looked back and was like, that's good, good, that's interesting, that turned out okay. As if I had the opportunity or the possibility to not be good. But the truth is, that's not how God creates, because He creates perfectly and purposely and intentionally, and He literally has never made a mistake. Not with you, not with a single person. I mean, that's a bold statement, but God has literally never made a mistake creating any human. And He doesn't make us and then stand back and say like, interesting, that was okay. He stands back and we watch it in creation, in Genesis. He stands back and He says, that was good. And moreover, what I realized as I started to watch God as the hero of the story and as the subject of the story, is that God doesn't say, that is good, and He's not talking about that thing. When God says, I created this and it's good, He's glorifying and worshiping Himself. He's affirming the very nature of who He is as a perfect creator. And so when I started to see, like, this is what God says about me, this is what God says about who He made, what He made, then it really changes the way I interact with myself and my identity as if I could not be good. It's not just when I don't feel good or when I feel like I am intrinsically messed up or busted or messy or a problem. It's not just that I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about my God. I'm talking about this thing that He did and that He affirmed and that He worshiped and glorified Himself. And I'm speaking against that. If you want to get real and honest, like it's almost the antithesis of worship. When I do self-doubt or when I do self-hatred or when I let the enemy speak lies to me about who I am, when I speak lies to me about who I am really doing the exact opposite of what God made me to do, which is glorify Him and glorify what He makes. So that being said, it was a game changer for me in chapter 5. And I just want to ask you guys one question. You've read it. Hopefully you're about to talk about it. And I want to just ask you one really bold question about that. And I want to say, how would it change your life and your group of women and the kingdom of God if you believe God didn't make a mistake when He made you? How would that change the way you interact with people? How would that change the way you're on mission? How would it change the way you get dressed? How would it change the way you love your kids? How would it change the way you do conflict? How would it change the way you make art? If you believed God didn't make a mistake with me, He made this on purpose.